Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about it's how they feel, not about how you feel. So this is a dating advice video and it's for those people that are perhaps in a kind of like a unreciprocated situation where perhaps they've asked out someone that they really like but they've got rejected. So what's important to understand is if they are not attracted to you, there's not much you can do about that, right? If they're not attracted to you, if they've rejected you, then you need to realize that it's now time for you to move on to someone else. And this was an issue that I struggled with a lot when I was a teenager. I would fall in love, I'd get all these emotions for girls that I liked. I would tell them that I liked them and they rejected me. And then I just continued to hang about trying to convince them why they should be with me, or I just stuck around hoping that they would fall in love with me. I'll try to be their friend, doing all this stuff basically to try and change their opinion about me, when really I should have just let it go. Okay, but the point is that it's not about how, because no matter how much you like them, it's going to change how they feel about you, right? If they don't feel it for you, if they don't like you back, there is nothing you can do, unfortunately, in that kind of situation. Okay, I'm not saying it's impossible for someone to change their mind about you, but you're not going to do it by trying to convince them. You're not going to do it by trying to change their mind. You're not going to do it by trying to be their friend first, right? You're not going to do it in those ways. It's more likely that you're just going to repel them further the longer you stick around and stay in friend zone, right? Because that's usually what happens straight away when someone rejects someone who has, come on to them. Basically, they say, oh, let's just be friends, right? But the best response to someone saying to you, let's just be friends, is, well, I want something more. I want romance with you. I think you're really cute and I just don't see you as a friend. I see you in a romantic way. So, if you feel the same way at some point, then you have my contact information. And then you walk away from that person and you go into no contact and you don't speak to them unless they speak to you first. That means they message you and they say to you, hey, how are you? And then you can say something like, hey, I'm doing good, thanks. So have you changed your mind? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to go on a date? And then see what happens. Right? But usually it doesn't ever get to that point. Usually if someone has rejected you, they're not really going to change their feelings for you. Like I said, sometimes it does happen, but it's better to assume that you're the majority and not the rare occasion where that thing sort of does happen, right? Most of the time, if someone has rejected you, they can't help it. They're just not attracted to you. They just don't feel that way about you. So it's best to leave them alone and to go into no contact with them, okay? So, things like declarations of love, sending long letters, confessing your feelings. Those are the things that I used to do as a teenager, and they never worked out. I would get a crush on a girl, I'd send her a letter, or I would just say to them flat out that I loved them, and I would just get a huge, big, fat rejection. Essentially because I was going from a 0 to 100, right? Too fast. Like going from we're friends, then suddenly, oh, I'm in love with you. That is just way too much for someone else to handle emotionally and think about emotionally. It's just too much. So it's no wonder that, I got rejected or anyone else did. I think another one of the main reasons why I got rejected was because I was doing that sort of thing to straight girls who were my friends. But although I think it still would have been the same sort of situation if I had done that to a woman who was also a lesbian or bisexual as well, because you're still doing insane things that are too emotional too quick. If you say like you're in love with someone or you send them a long letter. There was a girl that I liked who was sort of into me as well, and I'd send her long like posts on not posts send her long messages on Facebook and things like that about how much I liked her. And it just ruined things. Even though maybe she was even a little bit interested in me, I kind of ruined it by getting too emotional too soon, even though she was into me a little bit, right? So that's something else to think about as well. Even if, don't do that to girls that you're dating who are actually interested in you. Don't start saying that you're in love with them too soon. In my experience, it's always better to wait for them to say I love you first, and for them to confess their feelings first, because then at least you know that you haven't done it too soon, that you haven't said anything too emotional too soon. Of course, when they start getting emotional and start saying nice things about you, saying that they really like you, that's when you can reciprocate and say those things back. But it's always best to wait, just to make sure, okay? So unfortunately, if someone doesn't like you in that way and they've rejected you, you have to let these people go. You have to, right? You just have to, because you're just essentially wasting time, right? Even if, maybe they change their mind in the future, it's best to not stick around and wait for that to happen, because you never know if that's going to happen. It's always best to walk away from someone who has rejected you, who doesn't feel the same way about you. Always. It's always the best thing to do, to not communicate with them anymore, to stop sending them messages, to stop saying how much you like them and how much you'd love to be in a relationship with them. Because like I said at the beginning, the whole title of this video, it doesn't matter about how much you like them, right? All that matters is how much they like you. And if they don't like you, no amount of you liking them is going to make them like you, okay? So the best thing to do is to just keep on dating and keep on meeting new people until you find someone who does like you in the same way that you like them. That's where you've got to aim for. Not trying to convince someone who doesn't want to be there, because if they don't want to be there, there's not much you can do. So it's always better to find someone who does want to be there, right? So just keep on dating until you find someone who is just as enthusiastic about you as you are about them. And you have to just keep on going until you find that person. And the great news is that you only need one person, right? You only need one person to say yes, to like you in that way, the same way that you like them, right? Because most of the time, especially if you're here in the West, we only have one partner. We only need one person to be with, to be in a relationship with, right? So that's really good odds, right? You only need one person who feels that way about you. So just keep on going and just keep on dating until you find someone who does feel that way about you, right? And another thing that I want to address, and this is really important, and this is one of the reasons why sticking around and trying to be friendly with someone who's rejected you because you're hoping that they're going to change their mind about you, but sticking around and hanging around in the background does come off creepy, and it can make you obsessed, right? And this is definitely something that I did, because I stuck around when girls rejected me and I kept on sending them love letters. I know for a fact that I must have looked really creepy and weird and obsessed, and I could tell this by some of the reactions that I got from these girls, and it hurt because also I was friends with them, so it hurt to make my friend look kind of like weirded out by me because of how much I was trying to project my love onto them, hoping that by doing so it would make them like me back, right? And it hurts to know that they thought I was creepy or whatever it was that they were thinking about me. Well, I know that it wasn't good because I could tell by the look on these they were girls at the time, these girls' faces, right? Obviously they were the same age as me. I just want to make that clear. I was about, they were all in the same year as me. I was about 15. I think maybe I was about 14 or 15 when I started to do this. I just want to make a disclaimer there and make that very clear. But, if you stick around, essentially, and if you keep on trying to convince someone who has already rejected you to be with you, you will look creepy, you will look obsessed, and that is not going to make them attracted to you. It's best to just gracefully accept it when someone rejects you and start moving on to find someone else who does feel the same way about you. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.